And boom, just like that, it's Thursday night. And you know what that means? It's Party time with the Video Bros. I'm one half of that team. I'm Bobby Munson, the man beside me. You know him. He is the man with the angelic voice. Say it with me, folks. He's Papa Smokes. Papa Smokes. Look what I'm sporting tonight. Busted out classic.
Well, looking good, Munson. That is a classic by now. Eh? Those shirts are a couple years old. They're instant classics.
It's time for a new batch, I'm thinking, sometime soon here, Papa Smokes. You're going to have to get some new merch out there for everybody.
I've been thinking about it. I got some people working on designs and all that kind of stuff.
Perfect. We're going to have a lot of cool shit going on, that's for sure. Speaking of cool, we got a whole cool list of people up in the house here tonight. We got CBRS Entertainment, Chris Best, co-host of Turnbuckle Talk on Tuesday nights, and one of the members of the Monday Night Raw watch-along on Mondays. Is the reigning defending two-time Twitch trivia champion. He's here. He's also watching A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. One of the ones that's a very interestingly talked about and remembered entry into the Nightmare on Elm Street series. But yes, awesome. You know what is... hold on here. I got to get this right because I'm going to go on this hate train here coming up. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, no matter what you think of it, is still better than Five Nights at Freddy's because that dumpster fire of a fucking movie should go to hell in a handbasket. I am going to say
I've
that.
seen you tweeting about this lately, Munson. I don't know what the whole story is, so that's a brand new movie?
Yeah, it's a movie based on a video game. I thought, okay, I'm pretty forgiving when it comes to horror movies there, Papa Smokes. Very forgiving when it comes to my horror movie intake.
You better be, yeah.
But Jesus, like, talk about just an insulting piece of garbage. Like, from start to finish, plot holes, bad dialogue, just an absolute mess. They pretty much tell you exactly how the finish is going to happen, what the twists are going to be, by making it blatantly obvious within moments of the movie starting. It turns into like somewhat of a Disney film halfway through the damn flick. Like, just awful piece of trash. Wow. And I know he's going to agree with me, and he's up in the house. It's the voice, Joshua Joseph, saying, "What's up, OLE? How's it going?"
What's up, Josh?
Going great. And the reason I know that my man Josh agrees with me, because right there, amen, Bobby. And I know that's in response to Five Nights at Freddy's. Join the Five Nights at Freddy's fuck off bandwagon, because that's what we're calling it. That movie can go to hell quite happily. But we got another video. Oh, sorry. Go ahead,
Munson. That's someone's art. That's someone's art, Munson. Maybe you just don't understand it. Maybe you're just not on the same level as the artist that planned out all those shots and wrote all that painstakingly, Munson. You think that's possible?
Yeah, well, you know what? That could be the case.
Kind of reach in there, eh?
You might be on it. No, I see where you're going. I see where you're going. I also see that I still had a kind of a Halloween theme going on behind me there, so I figured I'd go back to the groovy feeling, because that's kind of the vibe I like to give off here, especially because that's how I feel by the time we go live with these shows. Yeah, because there's a little bit of that downtime that we have between calling a PPW match and going live with the ring respect. So I got to get into full ring respect mode, and it requires some heavy lifting, very heavy lifting.
Yeah, right. We know what you're up to, Munson.
That's right, Bob Smokes. You hit the joint on the
Not me. Not me.
Oh, of course not. No. That's in name only.
Well, that was outside. Yeah, that was outside, not in here.
That's right. We got our third video bro right there. The man who took a chair to the back of the leg in the last PPW show. It's Basser saying, "What up, you wild animals?" Basser, you're the wild animal, man. You're the one that took that chair shot during that chairs matchup. You're a good bro. BDJ saying best shirt in wrestling, and I could only assume BDJ's got the taste for a Papa Smoke shirt. I think BDJ owns a Papa Smoke shirt, if I'm not
mistaken. He would probably like the Savage Henry shirt I've got on as well here too, but I know what he's talking about.
Good. You're probably good friends with Savage Henry by this time, right?
Oh, very much so. Very much so. My favorite local band by a long shot.
Awesome.
But Munson, I was gonna say with Vassar kicking around here. We're like the Freebirds now. We're the 3-man
Yeah.
tag, and you never know which which two you're gonna get because one's always floating on the outside. Makes us twice as deadly somehow. I love it.
I like it. That's hell yeah, Papa Smokes. That's
Yeah,
yeah. I like it.
we're the modern day Freebirds. Yeah,
Modern
of the
day
video
freak.
world.
We
Yeah,
put
of
our
the
own little spin on it.
videotaping world. Yeah, yeah.
We got
Hey,
Bobby
there's
Stats.
Bobby.
Bobby
All right,
Stats is up
buddy.
and out. Wants to say the Brett Ryan Gosling debut match on MLW Fusion. Oh, he's already kicking ass with a name like Ryan Gosling in there. Must be a dreamboat. MLW Fusion. He
Wow.
was trained by Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. So I mean, he's got good trainers behind him. So I'd like to see that. I'll have to get that checked out. We are going to be talking about some MLW here tonight, Bobby. So definitely thank you for stopping in. As we got our other bro, my brunch buster brother, and also going to be joining us here on on all the watch alongs that we do, the tailgate watch along parties for MLW. And I know we got another one of those coming up here very shortly, Papa Smokes, on November the 18th. We've got Fightland coming up that we're going to talk a little bit about tonight. We've also got you heard about the one coming up in December as well too. We got a Thursday night MLW presents One Shot coming up. So we're going to be able to do the tailgate party right here on a Thursday night, joined by Chris Parrish. Melball's going to join us. Andre C, if he's around, he's going to be coming in here, joining us. They're going to be dropping some Japanese wrestling knowledge because we know that we've got some great talent coming over from New Japan. Is also the big announcement we're going to talk about in a little bit here too for One Shot. Matt Cardona wrestling for the MLW World Heavyweight Championship at MLW One Shot. That's if he is still there. Remember, just announced, and we can talk about this even right now if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. I've yet to see the movie, but the game is pretty scary. The game was cool, but Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie, piss off. But Matt Cardona, it was announced, Papa Smokes, at Fightland will be going up against Old Mance Warner, with the loser being forced to leave MLW. And that segues beautifully into tonight's main topic that we're talking about here. And that's the MLW exit door. So either Matt Cardona or Mance Warner leaving MLW as of November 18th when one of them loses in that matchup.
Which one's getting fired, Munson?
It's going to be interesting, man. This chat is hot tonight here, Pop Smokes. We got Astrid joining us. Astrid, how are you doing? Thanks for joining us here on a Thursday night. Appreciate it, as always. Jackson Pollock, shit on a canvas. It was still shit. That's good. Yeah, I love this hate Five Nights at Freddy's train we got going here. I'm loving it. It can't be as bad as you ball video game based movies, though. Oh, yes, it can. I dare you to watch Five Nights at Freddy's and tell me that there's something worse. Please.
Yeah, he's talking about Postal, isn't he? Yeah.
Paris saying, Bobby liked buttered bread with ketchup, so we have to take a step back here and analyze everything. Listen, Parrish, young Bobby liked gross things like that. This Bobby did it for the fans. That's about where I draw the line.
Oh, yeah. He did it for the fans, baby.
I did it for the fans. Basser saying he's going to text me some proofs of the PPW shirts. I believe I got that text. Thank you, Basser. I will check that out momentarily.
Yeah.
And BDJ, you can keep trying, my man, but I am not putting your repulsive comments on the screen. Hello there.
Come on, Bob.
Nah, it's not having a BDJ.
He's a bad boy. He's a bad boy.
Bobby Stat saying, I'm thinking that Steph DeLander will show up at MLW Fightland or MLW One Shot, please. We've been crossing our fingers for how many years already? Like, you know what? Maybe she's the one that costs Old Manser. Let's talk about it right now. Old Manser could lose the matchup to Matt Cardona. It could be costed by Steph DeLander. Matt Cardona victorious carries on with the company for a little while. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Pop Smokes?
Well, you can see the interactions on X is that Delander and Cardona are obviously a pair working the indie circuit together, but Delander and Mance Warner seem to have a little relationship going on of some kind of humor and some kind of mutual working respect and stuff. I actually think that's a great call, Munson, and I could totally see that happening.
Yeah, I get too. What do we got? Is that a proper OLE symbol? I can't tell if that's a proper, if that's been altered by BDJ. I'm
Oh,
wary, BDJ. I'm wary with
Munson,
you. I'm
get
wary
your
with you.
tinfoil helmet off, man. You're just paranoid now.
Chris Best saying House of the Dead was a horrible movie. Yes, it was. You don't splice an action directly from the video game in with the movie. That was garbage. I agree 100%. It just does not mix well. You know what? At least their opening credits look better than anything in Five Nights at Freddy's. So, yeah, still a slightly better movie. Not a good movie, but slightly better than Five Nights at Freddy's. But that's kind of like taking two pieces of dog crap and saying that the shinier one's better. It's still a piece of dog crap. It's just a little shinier. And that's House of the Dead in comparison to Five Nights at Freddy's.
Harsh, Munson. Harsh.
I
Siskel
am
and
making
Ebert
this
would
my
have
new
never
thing.
been this mean. Yeah, Siskel and Ebert were never this mean, Munson.
I know they weren't. But yeah, BDJ asking a legit question. All
Oh,
right, brother. Thank you. Thank you. What's best horror movie featuring a wrestler? Best horror movie featuring a wrestler.
it's a hell of a question.
That is a hell of a question because now I want to believe that you know what, for me it's because it's classified as a horror movie despite it not being in a classic horror tradition. For me it's got to be They with Roddy Piper.
Yeah, They Live. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, They Live.
Uh,
So yeah.
yeah, I was thinking about that too. Don't know if that's considered sci-fi or not, but it's certainly horrifying in its potential plot ideas and a beauty of a movie and a great story. And still one of those things that's one of those ideas that's still kicking around that there's reptilian humans that are trying to take over the world, like by imitating us and putting human skin over their reptile features and everything. I love it. It's an enduring theme in modern society.
Yeah, I agree. Um, Josh saying Chris Best needs to go watch Five Nights at Freddy's and then tell us how right we are about that shit pile of a movie. Thanks for having my back, Josh. Um, Chris Best saying See No Evil, that would be featuring Mr. Glenn Jacobs, Mayor of Knoxville, I believe. Yes, as Jacob Goodnight, who, again, if you remember last week on our trivia night, I actually threw the name Jacob Goodnight into one of the selections in one of the answers there, and that was in reference to Glenn Jacobs' character in See No Evil. And we got Josh saying The Ringer with Terry Funk.
Yeah.
And
I was trying to think of, oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, like, not every John
Sure.
Carpenter movie is necessarily a full horror or traditional horror, but he kind of played within that realm all the time. So generally speaking, most had a basis of horror surrounding them, kind of thing. So and that one too, again, like, yeah, like you say, it kind of comes across like it another species living amongst us, kind of looking like us. That has been something that's been written about and talked about for centuries at this point, kind of thing, things dating back to even like the Mayans and everything like that. So it's been going on a long time, and John Carpenter turned that into something interesting. And let's not kid ourselves, Roddy Piper on screen, one of the coolest action guys you can get.
Yeah. Yeah, he took to it also like it's he as a wrestler he kind of leans towards overacting, but in a movie like that it's very well suited to overact it just a little bit, and he's perfect. He's awesome, man. I was so proud when I watched that to see like, oh, this isn't a bad movie, like it's actually good.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and again, like, to think that many years later, and we're still putting that at the top of our list of that when it comes to that question. And phenomenal question from BDJ. Again, we'll take questions like that all day long here on Ring Respect Radio.
What about What about Jesse Ventura in Predator? Is Predator a horror movie?
Yeah, I would
Not
say
really,
so.
I
Again,
guess.
like it's, I mean, it is sci-fi, but again, it's got the horror element because they are essentially hunting. So in that aspect, it becomes kind of almost in that realm of like a slasher or a monster type film. So that does kind of land on the side of horror as well too.
Yeah, one of the some of the things about horror movies is that the protagonists are isolated so that there's not help nearby. Those guys are like far in the jungle and everything, and then they're being picked off one by one. Similar to Alien 2, another sci-fi slash horror movie. Alien is even more clearly a horror movie, I think.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, for sure. Josh saying that he's got a "They Live" hoodie that he wears on dates with his wife. I bet she's
Oh,
proud.
decent, decent, bro.
Chris Best saying, speaking from personal experience, I love how Piper can go from person to actor in a second. Piper was just cool shit, man. Like, really was. I always enjoyed his stuff. I mean, like you said, a little over when it comes to wrestling, but he was also so awesome in the ring at the same time, too, that it made up for any of the kind of the over entertaining bits that he was doing. I mean,
Oh, yeah, he was perfect. I just a couple of weeks ago retweeted one of his promos for Portland Wrestling, and he's talking outside of his truck, and he's threatening someone. And this is like a 2.5 minute promo. He takes a beer bottle, a glass beer bottle, smashes that on his head. Then he reaches into his pickup truck, and he's got this little chihuahua. That's the cutest but weirdest looking little dog. And then at the very end, he's stopped talking and he's hanging by a noose from a tree with his feet dangling. And that's the final shot of it. Like, God damn, Piper, like, what were you trying to tell us? Like, you genius.
that's awesome.
He's just hanging at the end. Like, what the hell, man?
Guy was always off his rocker, but phenomenal. We got Bobby. Bobby Stats is laughing, so we know it's a good show already.
Yeah.
Chris Best saying, I know I say it a lot, but I was involved in Piper's last movie, and working with him was just a delight, man. That would have been awesome. Hey,
Oh,
talk
man.
about that all you want. That is a great credit to have to your name.
Tell us more.
Yeah. You know what? Maybe we'll have to have you on to talk more about that one of these days, Chris. That'd be great. BDJ's got a question though, and this is a good one, and this goes for everybody in the chat as well too. Get involved with this as we're having an MLW night. Who would you guys cast from MLW for a horror movie killer? Nice questions only. This is a very cool question coming just off of Halloween. And are we going current MLW or should we go MLW? I mean, because we could open a whole can of worms here with MLW.
The obvious one is Mads Kruger. I mean,
yeah,
he's already, he could be in a movie just as is kind of thing, or Cruel as his common name is now. He's got the mask. He's 6'8". He's got a huge body. He's absolutely tremendously scary. We were going to try and get him on the podcast, Munson, and I'm not the superstitious guy that's into that kind of stuff, but I didn't even want him to be on the same screen as me. You know what I mean? Because it feels like now I got the hand on my neck. Now he's pulling me through the screen here. I don't know. That's the kind of horror aspect that he gave up. But there are other considerations of that. You could put Jacob Fatu in one too.
I was even thinking more recently, and only having made a debut at the last show, Janai Kai. Like, Janai Kai, the new MLW featherweight champion, is scary looking. Like, could kill with a blink of an eye kind of thing. And you know that she's got deadly hands that could mess you up pretty quick, and those kicks as well. I mean, she wouldn't need a knife. She wouldn't need anything like that. She'd be kicking heads straight off of bodies.
Well, I would cast her or some of the other badass lady wrestlers as like a Sarah Connor type thing. Not the villain of the horror movie, but the kick-ass chick that survives.
That's a cool twist on it too. I like that. Because again, Janai Kai could handle herself. I wouldn't want to piss.
Oh yeah.
Bobby saying
Yeah, man,
Selena.
exactly.
Bobby saying Selena De La Renta, Janai Kai, or Jacob Fatu. Selena, I think, would just slide it nicely to a role like that. I think she could take that on pretty easily. We've seen some of that dark stuff that she's done when she had Neil Mortis, and we got PDJ. Our boy Bud Heavy, he'd cast our boy Bud Heavy as a horror movie villain. I don't know if I could take that seriously. That would have to be a comical horror movie villain for me, because Bud Heavy's just too cool of a dude for me to get freaked out by, kind of thing.
Well, he couldn't be one of the victims either, because I don't think he runs so fast. But no, Bud's too much of an awesome and lovely guy to be the villain.
Yeah, no, exactly. But no, I think there's a lot of options there. They do sometimes have those dark gimmicks and stuff that they bring in from time to time. Again, they've had Gangrel there. They had who was it that was with? I mean, Holodead was somebody that used to come out, and she had Doctor. What was it, Doctor? What was
Dax.
Dr. Dax? That was it. Like, I mean, that guy was some sort of crazy beast standing at ringside there. Always thought he'd get more involved, but
Raven and the Calling too, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
Like Raven in particular. Maybe not so much now, but when he was younger and more handsome, kind of, he could have been in a movie.
Yeah, Bobby's, reiterating that by saying Akira and Ricky Shane Page. So very much on that side of things for sure. So let's talk a little bit about the exit door. I know that's our main topic tonight, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Fightland, a little bit about One Shot as well too. So when it comes to the exit door, Papa spoke sadly. Very sadly, we are losing MLW folk like it's going out of style. We need to build some new names pretty darn quick, because the pool's getting a little bit light over on the MLW side. With now officially, I know it almost seemed like it had happened anyway because they hadn't been around for a long time. Juicy Finau and our boy Lance Anoa'i now released from MLW. And Alexander Hammerstone has requested his release, and at this point in time, MLW has not granted said release, but they also have not used Alexander Hammerstone, nor does he seem interested. And that's confirmed through Alexander Hammerstone as well, too. This sucks. I don't know what your thoughts on it, but definitely did not want to see these guys gone.
I'm of mixed feelings about it, Munson. I mean, we've been watching this since 2018 or 19 kind of thing, a few years now with this company. And I kind of feel like MLW doesn't sign very many people. This isn't a company that's WWE or AEW where you sign a contract for a year, 2 years, or 4 years or something like that. It's just not big enough, and they just don't have the money to do that. We've seen that some talent, their top guys, get signed to deals for sure, but everybody else is kind of by singular shots or by sets of tapings or by a couple of months kind of thing. So it's always been changing talent for a long time. I mean, when we first started watching, there was a good year there where mostly everybody was the same, and that's when they had a really good roster with Contra Unit and the Von Erichs and everybody else. But we've seen that it flows in and flows out as far as talent goes for MLW. I agree with you that we're at a point where we've lost more than we've gained, and that sucks because this company needs to keep momentum, keep the wheels rolling, especially with getting some streaming deals online. Just keep it going, guys, but it is tough when some of your name guys all leave at the same time. And I never expected Hammerstone to stick around forever.
No.
I never expect Jacob Fatu to stick around forever. He's the last guy, right? From when we started watching.
Yeah.
That's the only guy that's left that never left throughout all that.
Yeah, and I was going to say, if you don't count Tom Lawler's recent return or Davey Boy Smith's recent returns kind of thing. And
those guys all left for a year or more. So I look at it as an ebb and flow kind of thing. It sucks to lose name guys. Juicy and Lance and Alexander are big guys for them. But like you say, we got to keep it fresh. We got to get some more dudes in. Plus, we need some semi-name guys in MLW. Names that people recognize when they see it on TV. Names that kind of semi-legitimize your company as a serious wrestling company. And they need to do it soon because they're running out of good talent, even with the pipeline from Japan and Mexico. Love that all the time, but we need some name dudes, not just dudes, women also, name wrestlers to get it out there.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm glad you added to that too. But I mean, the one thing they have been doing very, very well is the featherweight division as of late. They seemingly have taken that the smart direction. It's been doing more than it ever did before, and it's great. They should build up the MLW tag team division. Always think that. But again, with what Pop Smokes is saying, with so many people in and out all the time, it's hard to keep tag teams together long enough in MLW to really solidify them as long-running tag teams. I mean, the Von Erichs, it was easy because they're legitimate brothers. They're going to travel together. They're going to do stuff together. That's what they do. Chris saying Roman Reigns is trying to get Lance Anoa'i into the WWE. I don't know if Juicy will go with him. See, Juicy, I don't believe is actually blood relative to the Anoa'i or Fatu family. I believe that he's friended into the family kind of deal. If I'm not mistaken.
It's wrestling. Go with it, man.
That's right. Sell him. He's family. You know he is. He sat at the dinner table before. He's acknowledged the tribal chief at once in his life. But yes, and I agree, Bobby. Lance and Juicy were a great tag team. I could see WWE going for Lance, especially after he just took that run in Japan and kind of did a little bit of world traveling, really crafting himself in this business a little bit stronger. Lance is getting better by the minute. And with what they've got going on there, they want to keep doing more with this bloodline angle and story and everything like that. So now they're going to have to start looking at some of the younger members of the family. And Lance is a perfect opportunity. You've got an experienced wrestler who's picked up a lot of great knowledge over the last few years, who could now come in. He's going to be comfortable working with that crew because he knows them, their family. I mean, look how they did so well ushering in Solo Sikoa, who really didn't have a lot of years behind him or anything like that, but they brought him up there. They've made a big deal out of him. They've taught him how to do it, and people are paying attention to Solo. So again, this might be the greatest thing that could happen to Lance if they do get him over in the WWE.
Very much so. And not only with the talent and everything, he's already got the name, and you don't have to push it too far to use that last name, Anoa'i. All the wrestling fans know what that is and know who that is and know that that's part of the bloodline. Of course, it being WWE creative, they'll bring in Lance Anoa'i and name him AJ Sparks or some stupid thing like that. I could easily see that happening just to confuse everybody and give him some stupid other stage name. But at any rate, yeah, absolutely. People want to see Fatu there. I don't know if that's going to happen, but and again, you got to remember this. This is the same company that, for a time in the '90s, McMahon was looking at his roster and saying, "Just God damn, I've got 14 Samoans on here." Like, a lot of those guys had the same kind of look and the same kind of gimmick and everything. It's not just an endless gravy train for these dudes. They got to earn their spot and get in. And Lance did a lot during this last year's. Now I need Melball and Andre here. Was it the Noah or was it the G1 kind of tournament that Lance was recently in? And he actually did quite well. He went to the semifinals or something. I think it might have been Noah. And but one of those big Japanese tournaments. That's the kind of thing that gets your name out there amongst the smart fans, amongst the fans that are more fans of the sport. They want to see what everybody's doing in the ring and in terms of wins and losses and titles and accomplishments. Lance went out there and he's been doing the work that's for sure got the notice of a bunch of people in the business.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Lance already did work with WWE in the past. Yes, actually, Chris, we had Lance on the program here quite a while back here, kind of, especially kind of like more towards the beginning of our local establishment. I think as we might have been crossing over, Lance joined us live on one of the
a year
episodes
ago.
of Fusion. So about a year ago. And told us all about it, told us about being backstage there at the WWE, being there and, you know, having that experience. And it was a great interview. He's an awesome dude. And I mean, it was an honor to get to interview anybody from that lineage of people. And again, if Lance goes on and gets signed by WWE and is on mainstream TV, that's even more cool that we got the opportunity before he got to that platform permanently to get to there. And I'm honored to be able to say we had that interview happen.
Well, sure, yeah. I don't care about the stardom rub, but he was just a cool, down to earth guy to talk to, and he I felt like he had a humility to him too, where he knew where his place was in the business. He knew that he was starting out. He knew that all his cousins and nephews and uncles and brothers were in the business make big shoes for him to follow behind. So I found a humbleness and a humility in him that he was willing to do the work and do his time in the trenches and not just try and get into WWE right off the bat, but to actually work on the indies. He signed that he had one of those 1 year long deals with MLW or whatever. We talked to him about that. He had just signed it at that time.
Yeah.
And look what he did, a nice tag team run with one of his buddies, and that put him on the map. That's probably aside from his one SmackDown appearance with Shane McMahon, that's the biggest thing he's done right there. So yeah, like you said, work your craft, hump the road on the indies a little bit, take some trips, do some TV tapings, start to learn about TV, about how commentary works, about where the cameras are, about how to present yourself and everything. It's all part and parcel of it. All the wrestlers around us, we see both, us guys in person with PPW and watching them on TV. They're all working on that stuff, and it's just repetition and practice and a commitment to your presentation and your character, so to speak. And that Lance has done great with that. I salute the guy. What a cool guy he was to talk to.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like where I was going with that, is that we got that opportunity before that opportunity slipped out of our fingers, I guess was the best way to put that. It's just an honor to have been able to have him on the show, knowing in the back of our minds, if we didn't pull the trigger when we did, there's no way, because this guy was only going up from there. Kind of like a lot of people we've invited that we truly believe are on the way up, or we think are just, generally cool people that we invite on the show to hang out with. But I mean, we sit there and we believe in Tristan Time. We think that guy's going places. We believe in Robert Martyr and stuff. We believe in Bud Heavy because it's Bud fucking Heavy, of course. But
oh yeah,
like we love having that kind of fun. And Lance was another cool guy. Alex Kane. We've had just a plethora, and of course your personal friend, Mr. Thomas. I mean, how can we forget one of the coolest interviews we've ever had? Dr. Julius Smokes. I mean, that was a little wild, that one.
Holy cow!
We had a smoke off there between the two smokes in the room. It was a fun time.
Yeah.
But BDJ says, "What about young guy Benoit Ball whatever? I'm not even going for pronunciation. From New Japan. Not familiar with him personally. Be a perfect fit in MLW.
Wow.
If he's in New Japan, it's possible, because again, with the crossover that they got going right now, doors open to New Japan Pro Wrestling, so that could be a very, very good opportunity for that to happen. So, I mean, who knows? I could be having my leg pulled. I don't know the name. Maybe it doesn't exist. Either way, thumbs up. But yeah, we
made it on the screen.
We got I'm just gonna say here, we've got a lot of exits happening, but we of course got maybe some names that are starting to be put onto the rise here, Pop Spokes. We know that we've got the return of Filthy Tom Lawler. It's official. He stuck around with the company for longer. We're going to see him in capacity here with upcoming events for MLW. So that's, again, fantastic to have Filthy Tom back in the mix, especially with all the traction that he's gained over in Japan, that experience that he's got over there. I mean, he's looking fantastic as always. Glad to see more Filthy Tom. And, I'm curious about your thoughts on the main event for Fightland, because I know this match is huge. This match is great. We want to see it, but I also think it's the swan song for another of the last members of the MLW roster that we started watching back when we did. And we've got Jacob Fatu challenging the leader of the Beaumont Fight Club, Alex Kane, for the MLW Heavyweight Championship. And we keep saying this match after match. Is this it for Jacob Fatu? Is this it for Jacob Fatu? But I'm going to ask again, Pop Spokes, is this it for Jacob Fatu?
Hard to say, Munson. Really hard to say, because when I think of that question, I think, okay, then he's got to have somewhere better to go. And I've not heard anything about that yet. People are rumbling about WWE and all that. I'm not convinced on that yet, because I think if they wanted him, they would have signed him by now. And I don't think they're going to with his incarceration past and such like that. But I don't know if that's a general rule. And they did just get sold. Maybe there's a different rule set going on and different managerial guys making the decisions and such. But yeah, I don't expect anyone to stay around in the MLW forever. It's not one of those companies where they just keep guys for 10 years or 20 years or something like that. It just isn't like that at all. It's a place where you go to get some chops. It's a place you go to get some notoriety and some exposure on some limited television, some experience working with a professional company where you can learn how to do your promos, how to do your pre-tapes and all that stuff backstage and everything. And yeah, nobody stays in that forever, I don't think. And we would like that. We would like our favorites and our steady stars to be in there, but I don't think it's that kind of company. And I think Fatu will go on to other things, whether he comes back at some point. Yeah, but I think everybody's going to move on at some point.
Yeah, and again, Fatu is one of those ones, because after we talked to Joseph Samael there, kind of alluded to the fact that something big was coming Jacob Fatu's way around 2024. He wouldn't give us any more than that, and I don't blame him, because he's not supposed to be leaking any information. But clearly, Fatu is looking at options. And if you're any of the big companies, you'd be stupid not to be looking at Fatu going, okay, yeah, he's had a bit of a past, but what can our really expensive lawyers do to clear that so we can get this guy on our television and traveling the world?
Sure, but I also think that Fatu, with his reputation, he doesn't need the big companies so much. I mean, think of that guy making a tour through the US or through Canada. Do you think he's got any lack of offers from independent wrestling companies?
No.
Good offers. You think independent wrestling companies are putting him on the middle of the card or jerking the curtain? No, man, he's a main event guy everywhere he goes. He could be like a Matt Cardona, where he's actually arguably doing better on the indies, getting nice one-shot paydays and traveling around the country.
Very much so. And maybe he's also looking at the opportunity of being a top star in the NWA, especially with Billy Corgan announcing the connection with the CW network, getting that big TV deal. Billy Corgan might be looking to up the ante there in the NWA and get some names. Could he shell out the money to try to snag somebody like Fatu before, offers come in from a WWE or an AEW on that front? And again, who knows what Fatu wants, right? Like, I mean, that's what it really comes down to. Maybe Fatu doesn't want to go to the big companies. Maybe there's no desire for going to those guys and being controlled and being told what you need to say and clean up your act here and do this. Fatu seems like he's a wild man. And I think a wild man needs to do wild man things.
Yeah, you might be exactly right about that, Munson. And now that he's like, that's the thing about a guy being in a company like MLW for a long time, is that you're used to kind of having your way. You're used to having some input into what you do. I know that Cornette talked about working there for a while and some of the backstage stuff, and he encouraged all those up and coming stars, including Hammerstone, MJF, Richard Holiday, Fatu, Selena De La Renta, all them. He said, stay here as long as you can because you can perfect your art here without people interfering in it. You can work on your promos, you can work on your in-ring, you can work on everything here without them interfering all that much in it. Learn to perfect your own gimmick and to perfect your own presentation here while you've got the chance, because you might have to start unlearning all that stuff when you get to a big company.
That's true. Apparently Munson is the question mark. Says BDJ. I'm not going to deny or confirm whether or not I've ever fought underneath of a mask before. Just saying. But yeah, no, it's interesting to see where they're going to go. I just want to run over some of the other stuff here on that's been announced for Fightland so far. Papa Smokes, we know we talked about already Cardona versus Mance Warner in the loser leaves MLW match. We got a tag match that's also been announced. Lucha tag rules will apply. Rocky Romero is going to be teaming with Barbaro Cavernario. I hope I pronounced that right. With Selena De La Renta in their corner, and it's going to be against Ishiban and Mascara Dorada. So that should be a very interesting one. They've been really pushing Ishiban to the moon at the moment, but of course they're making Ishiban the people's hero versus Selena De La Renta, the evil overlord that's bringing in all these wrestlers from around the globe to try to put a stop to people like Ishiban and their run. This is what MLW does best. They build up these heel factions, these unstoppable heel factions, and they build up these heroes that the fans can get behind, like an Ichiban, and they really put them over if they believe in him. And again, Ichiban, he's looking great so far. They've done great things with him. If they keep it up, I can only imagine this guy's career is going somewhere decent down the road.
I think you're right about that too, and yeah, that's kind of like MLW's bread and butter. I mean, that's some of the stuff, some of the reasons that you and I first got hooked when we were watching this was for the big heel factions and how well they were done. And I mean, the return of Selena De La Renta now is like a blessing now, because they have the calling as the main event heel group, but I just don't feel like they have it. Like, I don't think they've reached the fans in nearly the way that the company probably hoped they did. I mean, they're such a dim light next to what Contra Unit was, for example, as a big heel faction. I mean, it's just hasn't really been a home run with the calling, I don't feel like. So to have Selena De La Renta in Canada with her faction, Promociones Dorado, kind of in the middle to upper card level of the tapings and the cards, really is like a nice footnote or a nice bookmark right in the card there, and that she can bring in a stable and have it be leaning on Latin-based wrestlers. Like you said, we've had Mil Muertes and various awesome wrestlers in the past, and just have this pipeline of heels coming in that spot on the card. It's perfect, and she does such good work. She can sell with the promo. She can sell with the look. Everybody likes her, and everybody associates her with MLW. That's a long time MLW member that's come back recently too. Very glad to see her back, because the show is stronger with her on it as a performer, and as we know, she's the executive producer of some episodes and does a damn fine job at that too. There's another person amazed to still see on the indies because so intelligent, gets the business, very, very talented, also very beautiful. Oh, yes, she could have a great future in wrestling.
Very much so. Bobby, we're going to get to your question here right away. Yeah, but I mean, I think that to go back to what you said about the calling there, Papa Smokes, and good evening, Melball. How are you doing? We're just talking MLW, and question for Bobby is in your field house here too, Mel. We're going to be talking about Janai Kai in just a second. But I was thinking about the calling and why they didn't necessarily click the way that the company wanted them to, is because I don't think that there's any reason behind it. It seems like guys who want to dress up in Halloween costumes and then they like violence and everything is a gimmick match. And that is all we've ever seen. We haven't had any reasoning for the mass attacks on the locker room. We've never had them do anything other than go after matches. That's about it. See, with Della Renta, she brings that purpose behind her group. She wants to take over. She's there to, be the company's boss, the company's leader, and she's going to do it by taking championships and making money and, being able to take over the world in that sense. That's what you need. You need that direction, that purpose of the faction, and that's why it clicks when Selena Della Renta puts something together in MLW.
I like the way you put that, Munson, because you're right. Selena she's dangerous. You know what I mean? Like she's all about money and all about influence. And when you involve money and influence, like you saw that with all that business with Cesar Duran, she was playing both sides, and she was playing both sides with Conan when he was there, and she's also got this kind of a mysterious side to her that's kind of got a witchy aspect to it. You remember some of her incantations and some of her not really skits, but little videos where she's got the candle and she would say the incantations in Spanish, and there's a vaguely supernatural element to her that seems more believable than it is in the calling, where these guys are wearing masks and suits, but she plays it. She's got the eyes. She acts it so well, and she's convincing. Man, I just don't know how else to put it. She's really good at what she does, and she gives that creepy feeling to the whole thing, like she's kind of one of those cartel drug lords, and she's manipulating everything from behind the scenes, and everybody's a puppet on her strings and everything. Just really good stuff. I'm so glad she's there. She doesn't have the main event part of the card right yet, but I could see her getting there because of her talent.
Very much so. And we got to say hello to Purple Aki. I hope I said that pronunciation properly. Saying hello, and very first time we've seen here. Thank you for joining us here
Hello.
on the show. How did you find us over at our local establishment? Again, we appreciate you dropping by for Ring Respect Radio. If you weren't aware, my name is Bobby Munson. Beside me, Papa Spokes for the commentary team over at Prairie Pro Wrestling. And we're also the Video Bros here on your Thursday night party stream, talking about MLW Major League Wrestling here this evening. So what brings you here, my friend? We'd like to know more about you as well, too. But yeah, Selena Della Renta is fantastic. Can't wait to see more of what she's got up her sleeve. And again, we're going to now go back to Bobby's question that he had, which also involves Selena in a way, because she brought in Janai Kai to MLW to take on Delmi Exo at the last show, and she conquered and took the title. We had a new champion. It's Janai Kai, and man, Janai Kai is dangerous, and I like Janai Kai. But Bobby wants to know who's going to wrestle Janai Kai at MLW Fightland. So if that belt is on the line and they have Janai Kai for a while, I think they're going to have to find somebody outside of the regular storyline. I don't think it would be right for it to be Becca and have Becca lose. I think that the best thing that they could do with what's going on with Becca is bring Becca back, but bring her back as a baby face, because I think that's how the fans will embrace Becca at this point. Becca needs be the one that dethrones Janai Kai eventually. But that's my personal thoughts on it. Papa Smokes, what are you thinking?
I think she should come back as the Baconator.
The Baconator. I like that. Mel will definitely get that joke.
There's Mel
Guys,
right there.
guys strikes are very, very deadly. Very deadly.
Yes.
I loved watching that. So awesome. And yes, love to see you here, my friend. But again, tell us more about yourself. Want to hear more, man. Want to hear more. So, but yeah, no, it was great. Yeah, extra bacon. Everything's better with extra bacon. Of course it is. You got Canadian bacon, you got back bacon, you got okay. We're not going to get into bacon talk here tonight. Bobby Stat saying now about having Tiara James being the first challenger to the. There we go. They've done some building up of Tiara James on Fusion, so again, that's somebody that they've got there. And yeah, Tiara James is a babyface, so I love that idea, Bobby. I think Tiara James is a perfect name to give a good matchup over to Janai Kai and still be able to have Janai Kai go over if that is the intent. Perfect idea. Love it. Going back to the bacon conversation, Chris Best had bacon wrapped turkey medallions tonight. Sounds absolutely delightful right there. And Chris Parrish says, what's shaking, bacon? The dad jokes are getting more blatantly obvious by the moment with Paul Parrish.
It didn't take long, eh?
Not long at all. No, they were happening in the build-up. It just kind of it rolled over into full dad mode in the last few weeks. Yeah. It really was delightful. Now I'm getting the munchies, dude. Like, don't talk like that an hour into the show. Come on.
That sounds like one of those dishes that would be served best with the white gravy, you know, that white bacon gravy. Tell me you had some of that on there.
Oh man. Oh, I'm dying here. I'm dying. They could do a rematch. Okay, back to that wrestling talk. All right, yeah. They could do a rematch. You're right. Delmy actually could get a rematch.
For sure. The rematch is the logical way to go first. But again, with MLW, you never really know the status of anybody. Delmy Exo could be long gone back to WXW in Germany or whatever the other things she does are. So we don't know. And a lot of these wrestlers are just doing shots. They do a set of tapings or two sets of tapings and then they're gone. So it's hard to say. At least we always get surprised. But you know, I'd still like to see Holodead back there. Like I think she's someone that's more than capable of being a legit champion in MLW. She's big, she's mean, she's got a gimmick, she's an experienced wrestler. I would make a spot for her in there too, if possible. But you know, I don't know the insides of the business.
Yeah. Bear saying, I heard if you add some bacon to Ed and Astrid, they may have a new show called Bacon Over. I heard if you add that to Parrish and Bobby, you get bacon out. We could go all day with this shit.
What about busting bacon?
Busting bacon. Yeah, there we go.
That's a little suggestive, I guess. Yeah.
We just hit our PG-13 mark of the night. BDJ saying my name is Purple. Your name is not Purple Aki. Don't make me drop your actual name in the stream here. And Paris says we're the Bacon Busters.
There you
go. Turn bacon talk. Yeah, well, that's Bring Respect Radio for you. The show that used to be all about wrestling is turned to mostly wrestling, but with a side of bacon.
Grind Respect Radio.
Grind Respect. Yeah, Papa Smokes. Love it. We got a pair of bacon. We got the itty bitty bacon committee. Oh man, this is great.
Bunch of jokers out there.
Oh man. Well, so I guess that would make us the bacon bros then. Let's just say it. Okay, now you're stretching that bacon a little too far there, Parrish. You couldn't have fit it in there like Monday night bacon eat along. There we go. Man, you catch me off guard. We're way off track here.
Yeah.
That's for Sundays, not for Thursday nights. Come on. Come on.
Mel's here somewhere. Maybe it could be Porka Mindful.
Porka Mindful, that one too.
Okay, yeah.
Monday Night Robbie. Okay, Free Becca. Yeah, we agree there, Bobby. Free Becca is right. Get that ankle bracelet off of Becca and get her back in the ring in MLW. We want Becca back. Not the back.
We need another hot, moist summer. What was her song called again? Hot, moist.
Hot summer fun, followed up by the other hit. You ain't cute.
Right.
And Paris saying free Becca or free bacon. Oh man, you're gonna start a riot if you start announcing free bacon, my friend. Mind you, they've been starting riots over free and Becca too. So I mean, maybe bacon, Becca. It makes sense. She's just gonna start coming out with plates of bacon, feeding people hot summer bacon. You bastard. Oh, you ain't bacon. Enough said. Back on track to MLW. Let's talk about One Shot for a moment here, Papas, folks. MLW One Shot, a big announcement came out of MLW here today. And this is where I wish Melbo was on screen with us because I know I'm going to mess this up. Miyu Yamashita, I hope I said that correctly, will be debuting in MLW. And this is a crossover, MLW and WTF, which is the World Titan Federation. That is the group that Matt Cardona is a part of, hosted by Mr. Saint Laurent. So, yes, that WTF, the World Titan Federation, and MLW present MLW One Shot on Thursday, December the 7th. So, we're going to have to do that watch along here. And, oh, look at this. This might be the one time ever. Said perfectly. Good job, Bobby. Yeah. Said it right. Woo. It's Adam Cole bacon.
Jesus.
But yeah, Papa Smokes, how do you feel about this announcement? Again, we were talking about the featherweight division. Now we're bringing in more talent over from Japan. And again, that's the best part. We're going to have Melbo joining us there that night for the watch along. Going to be able to tell us a lot more in depth about that. Everybody go check out Melbo and Andre giving you all the best in Japanese wrestling knowledge. But man, damn, I'm looking forward. I don't know anything about Miyu. I want to find out, though. They've been bringing us very interesting talent so far, and I'm very curious about this one.
I'm also curious. I recognize her name. I must have read it amongst some results online somewhere or something like that. Have not seen any of her work. I saw a picture of her. Looks like perfectly sturdy lady wrestler, a Japanese lady. I'm curious to know if what promotion she's coming from, and is she a legit star that can present and get over in America? Is my question, because they have some federations over there, just as here, that are not nearly as serious about professional wrestling. But as far as her presentation and stuff, looks good to me. And she's coming into MLW. I'm sure she's got. Sure she can hang there. Do we know that she's not getting the title shot against Janae Kai, or do we know anything about that, or is it just kind of featuring her? She'll have a match against somebody.
I think they'll probably announce something more after the 18th of November, because again, we still don't know who's going to go up against Janae Kai at Fightland on the 18th. So I think they're going to play into that first and then probably give us who Miyu's opponent will be at the show. So looking forward to that. Bobby's saying that wrestle against Janae Kai or Delmi Exo at MLW One Shot. It's very, very possible. Very possible. They could be leading towards that. She's a wrestler at Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling in Japan.
Okay.
Yes. Looking
Bobby
forward to
stats, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Bobby sets us up every time. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. But definitely looking forward to that. Looking forward to, again, Melwall, Chris Parrish, possibly Andre C. joining us for One Shot. It's going to be quite the tailgate watch-along party that actually lands on Ring Respect Radio Night, Papa Smoke. So, I mean, it's going to be tough. I mean, that's a big party night on a Thursday, so I hope you're prepared for a Friday morning hangover, whether it be the food hangover or the beer hangover. I think it's going to be quite the hangover regardless. And should we go some sort of winter themed drink for one shot, seeing as that one's in December? I'm thinking, what do we get? We got some sort of minty type drink or something like that. I'm thinking Papa Smokes is absolutely frozen at this point, is my guess, because he's either just giving me a completely different look or he's completely out of it at this point. But Parrish saying bacon juice. We are not drinking bacon juice on the watch along tailgate party. Come on, Parrish. You know better. Papa Smokes, you're back, brother. You're back.
I'm back.
No, we lost you for a little bit there, but I was talking about because of one shot being in December, do you think we should do some sort of Christmas theme or winter themed drink that evening?
Okay, yes, that's not a bad idea, because the last one being firmly in autumn, we did the cider, right? That made sense. Do we dare do some kind of eggnog with some form of rum or some form of spirit in there?
I like the sounds of that, because I'm an eggnog guy around the holidays. I like me some eggnog. Sometimes there's some good pre-mixed eggnog concoctions that are really good. You add a little dash of cinnamon on top of that. Absolutely delightful. Maybe a little nutmeg sometimes. It just to spruce it up a little bit. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm not totally into it, but I'll definitely have a couple just to bring in the season, to warm up things around Christmas time.
That's fair. I'm thinking at least one or something like that.
All right.
All right. Be a little festive there for the December show. But of course, we got November 18th just around the corner. We got Melball saying she's going to stick with hot chocolate and marshmallow vodka. Well, that could work very well too. I like the sense of that.
Anything in vodka works. Yeah, for sure. No, that sounds good. And when do I get to show you guys my famous Bloody Caesar too? That's
how about November 18th?
Fine Caesar. You got to make the little spices that go on the rim and inside the drink too. And I got a good one for that too.
Saturday, November 18th, Pop Smokes. I think that's the time. Because that's the next official tailgate watch along party. So you got that opportunity right there to bust those out.
And not too many things more Canadian than a Caesar too. They don't have those in other places. Isn't that weird? You get one anywhere in Canada, but down in tourist places like Las Vegas, they know what that is because tourists order them there. But like anywhere else in the States, they don't know what you're talking about. They got a Bloody Mary, but that's a little bit different.
Yeah. We got Paris saying the show is called, and he did correct himself, One Shot, right? So how about our local shot festivals? Paris, are you going to get in on shot festivals, my friend? Because I know that I have yet to see you get in on shot nights. Here with myself and Papa, some shots of beer. That doesn't count. Come on. Papa Smokes and I are sitting there slamming beers. We're taking shots of whiskey, brother. Come on, you got to do better than that. Bobby's looking forward to watching MLW Fightland, as we are too, and you're going to be able to watch us watching MLW Fightland right here on Saturday, November the 18th with Chris Parrish. Hopefully any other friends that want to join us. Again, Melball, you're always welcome. And everybody from OLE, Chris Best, you dropped in last time. You guys are always welcome to join us when it comes to the tailgate watch-along parties. Yes. And we encourage everybody to be vocal in the chat, talk to us during those times, and join in on the fun, because that's what it's all about. It's about having a lot of good fun here on those. Apparently, Parrish's son asked him to only drink beer, so I listened to him. Man, your son's talking already. That's pretty impressive, dude. Very
telepathy.
Impressive. Yeah. It's just a mental connection. It's like, Dad, beer. I mean, there's nothing wrong with beer. I like me some beer. Don't get me wrong. You see, I was drinking those Olay drinks.
Too long. Yeah, it takes too long sometimes.
I was having those margarita Olay drinks recently too. I kind of like those. Those were pretty good. He's a smart boy. Yeah, I don't doubt it. He's a smart boy. I'll give him credit. His dad's kind of quick-witted once in a while too. Bunching. All right, on from there. So that's what we got coming up in the MLW world anyway. Bear says he would do the Olay drinks. I'm sure he would. And look who just woke up from his midnight map. It's Barry Monkey. How you doing, Barry Monkey? We got Bobby St. Janaikai is wrestling on MLW Fusion next week in a non-title matchup. That'd be great to watch. And Commodores Barry, what's up? Says Barry. Barry, you're being picked on already. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Yeah, I think watching Impact, the greatest wrestling show. Yeah, okay, all right. Not gonna be Impact much longer. You're gonna have to have people going, oh, that's that TNA wrestling. I remember that. I used to watch that back when it was cool once. Sorry, Barry. I had to get the jab in there.
Vicious.
I know. But you know what? No matter what they do or what they call it, it's still nowhere near as bad as Five Nights at Freddy's, so it's a winner in this case. Because fuck you, Five Nights at Freddy's, taking my money like that.
Yeah, you're not gonna let that go, hey Munson. You're personally insulted by how bad that movie was.
Yeah, I really am. I really am. It's all my life I wanted to just one time be able to put something up on the big screen, and some group of hacks got money to do this, and people are paying for it, and they want a second one. These idiots want a second feature in this series. I'm the type that will still call it Impact just to be annoying. You be you, Barry Monkey. You be you. It's okay. We'll still know what you're talking about. So, Papa Smokes, what else we got, though? MLW, we've got that pretty much covered. We know PPW is just right around the corner. We only wrapped up a couple of weeks ago, but December 2nd is going to come up awfully quick here, so we know that Prairie Pro Wrestling is going to have that coming up. We had the Gimmick Battle Royal come out just this past Saturday on the channel, because thanks to the awesome people around the world, including many of you in the chat here who subscribed and got our account up, we're just shy of 700. We're just about at 690 now. We're going to be hitting 700 very soon. Those numbers keep rising for Prairie Pro Wrestling. Very excited for that. But we're going to be back to great wrestling action here. Regular wrestling action this Saturday, Papa Smokes. And it's going to be fantastic. A match for the title. We got Tony Novak taking on Mr. Sheik Akbar Shabazz. And looking forward to people finally getting to see that encounter.
Absolutely, Munson. And, you and I just stay in touch with PPW every week, not only in our thoughts and dreams, but we always call a match, where we usually call a match or two right before we do this podcast too. So that's one of the things that gets me up and going to talk with all my wrestling people out there, calling the matches, getting in touch with that again, and just, well, what fun it is. And sometimes I haven't seen those since they were performed live and since we did the camera work. So I'm always conscious to see how my shots look, how everybody's shots look, and just the video bros doing great work, and then laying that nice commentary over top, just kind of the icing on the cake, and good stuff, man. Always pumps me up for the podcast doing that.
It really does. Chris Bess, thank you for watching, man. The Gimmick Battle Royal was a fun match.
Nice.
It was a blast. Everybody had fun, and it was nice for us to take a break for a week and not have to announce a match. And I was glad that we were able to obtain Ed Whalen and Jesse the Body Ventura there to call all of the action from the Gimmick Battle Royal. Parrish does declare as the YouTube champion of our WTF Trivia Nights that he suggests that people follow, subscribe, and get those PPW numbers up to 700. Couldn't agree with you more. You also got to get those numbers up here on the YouTube side for our local establishment. That ticker down below is going to get you to everywhere you need to go to follow along at our local establishment OLE podcast. The numbers have been rising here on OLE. I think we're up to 307 on the YouTube side, and we want to keep that just on the rise. So thank you for all the love and support that we've gotten from everybody. Bobby saying he'd like to see MLW bring in Shelton Benjamin to wrestle against Alex Kane.
Oh.
So would I, and
Wow.
so would Alex Kane. He flat out said it on Busting Out that his dream match would be against Shelton Benjamin, and he said that wouldn't be a possibility. Well, Mr. Beaumaye, guess what became a possibility just recently?
Wow, that's so cool. And what an awesome pick by Alex Kane, because Shelton Benjamin, just one of the unsung heroes of wrestling. I mean, that guy could have done absolutely anything in the business, and he did do quite a bit. But if they had ever seen fit or put in the work to give him a push towards a championship, they could have got something out of him. Absolutely, for sure. I always think of the world's greatest tag team, how good him and Charlie Haas were, like just one of the real great tag teams of the modern era since the 90s, kind of, I would say. And man, the sky was the limit for Benjamin. So athletic, and he got the business mentally as well. Geez, I love this suggestion. I could just cross my fingers and pray that he would come to MLW for a few matches. That would be totally great.
Even if that, just for that one, would be great. Benjamin signing for would be great for any company. Before that, though, BDJ, another great episode. Have a good night. Duty calls. Thank you, brother, for joining us here tonight. I love the support. We'll see you next Thursday. Looking forward to having you back. But yeah, Shelton Benjamin, great signing for any company. And then Barry also mentioning they announced a big match for next week's Impact. Involves Tommy Dreamer. It's been a while since I swore that loudly at my TV. Now, Barry, was this like a fuck you, why are you putting Tommy Dreamer on my TV, or like a fuck yeah, Tommy Dreamer's going to be on my TV situation?
Well, I could venture a guess, but we'll let him answer.
Because I mean, people can be very, very mixed when it comes to Mr. Tommy Dreamer and their opinions of him. Chris saying Alex Kane did say on Busting Out that he wanted to. Yeah, that's exactly right. The first one. Thank you for clarifying, Barry. Do appreciate it. Does anyone want Dreamer on their television? Not really. I never did in the first damn place. Honestly, I never was a Tommy Dreamer fan myself. So take it for what you will. Even when he was in the dub or at ECW, anything just never clicked for me. But yeah, Alex Kane did say that on Busting Out that was a dream match of his. And he said, well, looks like that won't happen because presumably we all thought Shelton Benjamin would probably just wrap up his career within WWE. But having been released when he did, there's still a chance for another run, Shelton Benjamin, for a little while. He's not that old. He can still go out there. He can still work, and he can have dream matches like this, a one-time matchup in MLW. There's a great match for one shot. One shot, Shelton Benjamin versus the champ, Alex Kane at MLW. Ooh, that would be fantastic for our Thursday night watch-along for sure.
Yeah, I'm not much into dream matches, but that one's nice to think of, especially when it's in the realm of possibility. If Benjamin has any intention of wrestling after WWE, a lot of those guys that have been in WWE for a while don't consider wrestling for anyone else. You know what I mean? Like that's just not wrestling to them. And okay, that's kind of limiting, but who knows where his head's at, and I don't know if we've heard anything about that yet.
Exactly. So we'll have to wait and see. It'd be nice. It's nice to think about the possibility being there. But again, whatever happens, and whatever MLW puts out, Pop Smokes and I and our friends here at our local establishment are going to continue to support the company, to support the wrestlers working their craft in that company. And we're going to be doing so on November the 18th. You're going to be able to join us here for the Fightland watch-along, tailgate watch-along party. It's going to be a great time. Myself, Papa Smokes, Chris Parrish, and hopefully other friends here from our local establishment, all on your screen, having a good time, talking everything Major League Wrestling. Papa Smokes, we have a sponsor here on the show. They're called Rogue Energy. And you can use that promo code OLEPODS for 10% off of your order. They are a refreshing drink company. They replace your crappy energy drinks that you've got in the fridge there that are full of those bad sugars and all those nasty things you don't want. You want to get in shape. You want to be healthier. coming this 2024 season, head on over to see our friends at Rogue Energy and use that promo code OLEPODS. You can save yourself a little bit of money, because who doesn't like saving money, especially this time of year? Papa Smokes, we spent a lot of money, though, souping up and making your special ticker down below so that you can tell the people where they can find you. And I believe Papa Smokes has been frozen in time, taking a little puff of his vaporizer there. So we've momentarily lost Papa Smokes. So what I'm going to do is, while we get Papa Smokes back, I'm going to let you know that that's my ticker down below. That's where you're going to find myself, Bobby Munson, on all the different socials, as well as my personal Twitch, _Bobby Munson. So check me out on any of those. You're going to be able to see me this Sunday with Chris Parrish for another episode of Busting Out. And make sure you're also following Leo all this weekend. We've got previews for Crown Jewel tomorrow night. We've got following Crown Jewel on Saturday. Ashford's going to be hosting the post show there, so definitely be checking that stuff out and supporting people here at our local establishment. Now that I've told them about my socials, and he's back once again, Papa Smokes, your fancy, expensive Tickertron is clicking away there. Let us know where they can find you.
All right, Munson. I'm on X, which is the wonderland of free speech owned by the real-life Tony Stark, also known as Elon Musk. It is called X, and I am at Smokes_Papa. I'm also on the thing called Twitch, and it is at Papa_Smokes_.
That is fantastic. That is where you can find Mr. Papa Smokes. And again, I let you know where you can find myself. I think we need to raid out, though. That's what the kids call it anyway. It's a raiding out, and we're going to raid out over. Pinky's up. I think we're going to send this one Allison K's way. I think that was already set up. So Parrish must have set it up for us, so it's all good. But thank you, everybody, for tuning in and watching the show. We're all good there. All taken care of. Raid is out. Thank you for tuning in, everybody, and we will see you next Thursday night here on Ring Respect Radio. Good night, everybody.